Yeah, I kind of want to bring up something that you kind of said a little bit ago, which was where you're like, yep, I got to kind of convince a group of 12 random people and the judge. And I just want to get your perspective on, like, what's your opinion of the justice system? Do you have faith in the current way that it's done, or would you have any critiques on how you'd want it changed? Or it's probably a hard question, but I'm just curious.
That's a great question too. The bottom line is that no system is perfect. So I
Yeah.
got to start with that.
Totally.
And if you've ever been abroad or have seen, I went to Greece last year and I got to meet with some lawyers and look at their system. And I've studied a lot of other, legal systems around the world. I met some Japanese lawyers earlier this year in March in Chicago, and we were talking. And I'm telling you, the system we have here is just far and above better than anything else that I've ever seen. Now, that
Nice.
said, it's not perfect, and it is maddening sometimes when you have the right law, you have a great argument, and the judge just says, nah, don't agree. I'm going to rule this way or that way. And, you see it in Supreme Court rulings, right? Everybody tunes into the law once every year or every couple of years when there's the Supreme Court comes out in June with their big decisions. And this year especially was a really, really big one. And then everyone's a legal scholar and a legal expert, and they're like, we need more Supreme Court justices and this and all that because they didn't get their way. But, it's frustrating, but you have to trust the system and believe in it in order for it to work at all, right?
Sure.
And the system, as it's designed, is imperfect because we're imperfect as humans, okay? I do not want robots taking over. I do not want algorithmic judges and juries in the box, no matter how perfect they are, because I think it just takes our humanity away, and it really just takes our system to a point of like, what's the point of us even living? I'm anti-robot for the record, but it's just one of those things where you got to live and die by the pros and the cons of it. But it's a beautiful system in its own right. And the fact that you were giving, we're empowering 12, the entire community, right, to sit 12 people at a time in a box, or 6 people at a time, or 10, whatever the case is, to have that opportunity to be a part of something, greater than themselves and give to the system, the justice system, which technically we don't have a justice system. We have a legal system.
Okay.
Because you don't always get justice, right? How many times everyone walks out and be like, yep, justice was served. Right?
Not always.
I mean, Amber Heard didn't think so. Johnny Depp sure did.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of, I think the word justice gets a little bit skewed on what it actually means. I think it's a very unique word. But our legal system, the way it is, it works. It's just not perfect, and nothing is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. I think we got to kind of be grateful for the system that we have in America, probably, because we have such a prosperous, mostly free, mostly, crime-free in a lot of ways. So it's like, yeah, I'm very grateful for it. I don't know that much about it, but I was just wanting to hear your perspective because you're in it a lot. And, yeah.
I'm in it every day. And look, I'm a first-generation born, immigrant son. And my mother's from Greece, and she told me horror stories growing up about how much injustice there was. And if you look at our borders, our southern border, who's literally risking their life, who risked their lives to come over here, right? People from all below us in Mexico and South America willing to die to touch the soil.
Totally.
And that's not to say that America's perfect, because that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we are the greatest nation on earth, and my parents will say that. And every other immigrant I've ever have friends with or talked to says that. And I think that's lost on a lot of people, because you go get in a car wreck and die in another country, the tort, like in Canada, there's no tort recovery. They don't care, right? There's like, every time I talk to someone, like, oh, you're from Korea? Well, what if I got in a car wreck? They're like, too bad.
Yeah.
No. They kind of laugh. They're like, what? You get money for that? I'm like, yeah, that's the way it should be. Like, no. They maybe get their medical bills paid and some lost earnings, but the fact that you have the opportunity to go to court, to have your case heard at all,
That's a blessing.
is incredible. Whether you win or not, you can say what you want about the system, but the fact that you have the right to do that, to bring a case to court, in and of itself, is just amazing.
Yeah. And the idea of like innocent before proven guilty, that's probably foreign to a lot of people around the world, where it's like you're guilty to start and you might get lucky if you have any chance to really defend yourself at all, kind of like what you're saying. And
Yeah. You have the constitutional rights here are just so solid in terms of what any other system does in giving you your voice to be heard, and you have your right to be in court. You have your day in court. And of course, at that point, it becomes a little bit muddier on what happens, but the fact you have that, I think you're spot on. That people don't have that in other countries where they get sentenced to death for speaking out, right?
Yeah.